What ho everybody, Ian here, and oh well, what a couple of months it's been down here in the model railway room, going from loose idea of wanting to do something for the Gauge O Guild virtual exhibition in 2025 to having some remarkably good structures and a really good idea for a layout. So the structures that I built have really made me rethink things. I mean, I wasn't expecting to produce anything like that at all. So suddenly my standards have jumped up and made me reevaluate what I'm doing. Not in any serious way. I'm not all of a sudden going to build a 20-foot long branch line terminus layout. I'm still going to build a micro layout. And that's the thing. It's like my original plans had been going quite a little bit over the micro layout limit, so I really feel like I needed to look at the size the layout was taking up and seeing if I could trim down some space so I could get closer to that 4 square foot area that is so important. So pull out the full-size track plan, which is here, and I looked at it with the station buildings, with the structures on it, and laid the track out and to see how I can get things to work with it, because there were things that bugged me about the original plan. The main one was that the principal movement of on the layout was left to right, and there wasn't any depth to things. I mean, there are some really nice layouts, micro layouts out there, and you watch them and you can see a locomotive push a wagon into a siding at the back of the layout, and then it disappears off stage, and then pushes another wagon into the siding at the front of the layout. And those two sidings are ostensibly parallel to each other, and there really doesn't feel like there's any depth in the scene. You don't see the locomotive go from the front siding from the rear siding to the front siding, or vice versa. And that's another thing entirely. I can get onto that another day if you like. But so things seems flat. And if you can ever have a locomotive traverse track from the front of a layout to the back of the visible section of the layout, then you can enforce a feeling of depth that you're traveling through the scene. That's what I feel anyway. So I needed to look at that, the position of the station again, and so I moved the station over onto I swapped the roads around. The running line became the siding, and the siding became the running line. Kind of like started to think of this now as a through station, and I was reminded of my Conisholme layout, my micro model railway car toll Christmas challenge layout from a couple of years ago, and that was a through station, and it was remarkably fun to operate, even though it was 2 feet long, 8 inches deep, and a short 1 wagon siding. There were a few faults with it, like I had the running line cross the baseboard off stage at an angle, which made making train storage cassettes a bit of a bind. But The layout was a lot of fun to operate, and I could lose myself in the gentle switching motions going backwards and forwards and coupling and uncoupling. And so that was a lot of fun, but it was small. It was 2 feet by 8 inches. So on an 8 foot by 2'6" exhibition table that they give you at these shows, it gets lost in the middle. So, and I've got one funny picture which I'll share with you right now of the layout at a show, and I've put up my exhibit board for publicising the Micro Model Railway Dispatch, and as you can see, the board for the Dispatch is bigger than the layout, so obviously there's a problem there. But I figured that stepping up to O scale, things will be bigger and it'll just look better on a table. So you know, I got the stuff out, I got the track plan out, put it out on the table, and I looked, you know, and I really began to scrutinize things very deeply, you know, look at the way the track appeared on the scene, and from behind the goods shed, the angle of the road into the platform, and you know, I just experimented with a hedgerow in front of the goods yard, and as you can see in the picture, you know, I used a green tea towel to simulate the hedgerow. I like the idea of the hedgerow. If the hedgerow stays, but is that hedgerow going to be the front edge of the layout, or is that hedgerow going to have a road in front of it, or maybe even a drainage ditch? All this did make me pull out my iPad again and do some sketching, and I do love sketching on my iPad. You know, I can take a photograph of my mock-up, and I can drop that straight into my drawing app, which is, for those who are interested, it's called Procreate. I really, really like that. I don't know I just know enough about Procreate to draw in it, and that's it. And that's all I need to know, really. So, you know, I just put the photograph in the drawing app and trace over it. Now, anybody can trace over a photograph, you know. It takes no drawing talent at all. And I've been at it a while, so I do have my own little visual shorthands that I use. I mean, look at the trees in the drawing. They don't look like trees, but I mean, you can tell that they're trees. So you can get a feel. Well, I can certainly get a feel for what I'm achieving, and that's what you do with your visual shorthand. You have your own way of working with things, and stuff suggests what you have to do. So it's looking good again. I mean, I'm happy with the way that the layout is. It's shrunk down a bit now. I've lost a few square feet in area, so that makes me feel better about it. So still thinking about the drainage ditch or a road in front of the goods yard. Now, there's one thing about O scale, is that it is just beautiful. It doesn't matter what it is. I mean, this is my Minerva Manning Wardle, and it's just gorgeous. The size, I mean, it's the way it sits in your hand. It's just beautiful. I mean, there's nothing that I've got in O scale that isn't beautiful. And I'm looking at these things now, I'm thinking, well, they shouldn't be put away in their boxes. These should be like on display if they can. So I was thinking about making some little display stands for them, little dioramas, if you will. And then I thought, I wonder if I can like plug these display stands, dioramas, into the layout, because the most amazing thing I've ever seen in the Micro Model Railway Dispatch is Mark Smith's scenic sector plate on his Clarbeston Road layout. That was in one of the early issues of the Dispatch. Can't remember which one it is offhand right now, but I'll put it just here. so that you can go and look it up in the back issues. And it's a brilliant idea. A scenic sector plate. The sector plate that lines up with the roads on the layout is scenically developed. It's a brilliant idea. And I thought, well, is there a way that I could make these display stands for models, the fiddle yard for the layout? And well, if I may, I've got I've got 3 different locomotives, 3 different trains at the minute. So I would need like 3 different display stands, which would be a bit silly at a show, plugging in a different display stand for every layout. But if I had a blank display stand, just a ordinary scenic display stand, and then I could maybe plug train cassettes into the layout, then perhaps this would be a way to get around that. Each train would have its own cassette. The cassette would be plugged into the display stand, and then the locomotive and the train could operate on the layout. Do you get that? Have I explained that okay? I mean, I'm still grasping with the concept myself. I think it'll work. That's what I want to do. So the cassettes would be like edged with hedgerow or something like that, so that you wouldn't be able to see the cassette being pushed into the display stand. It would be kind of like having the train appear on scene from nowhere, and it would then like wait at a signal or something while the electrical connections are made, and then you could maybe like drive the train onto the layout. So I'm thinking this might work. I don't know if my electrical knowledge is up to being able to work through this at the minute. I don't know if I'm going to be able to carry this off construction wise, if I can build cassettes that fit into a display stand, a display diorama scene. That's a plan, and I'm quite excited about this idea. I mean, this project is all about pushing my abilities and my skills. I mean, I pushed myself on that, so there's no reason why I can't adopt that same attitude and push myself to create something new and clever in the train storage area. I think that's the way to go. I'm quite excited about it, so I'll have to go back and work up some proper drawings, some serious ideas on this, and go from there, and we will report back to you on that one too.